Ready, Chuck? Great. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Fry. I'm President of Sylvania City Council, and I'd like to call the public hearing together for special use permit 4-2021, which is a special use permit filed by AMA 44 Development for the possibility of utilizing 5625 West Alexis Road in Sylvania, Ohio, as a medical marijuana dispensary facility. So with that, just to kind of set the table a little bit more, this zoning amendment was filed in the middle of November of 2021. It was referred to council in early December, and then on December 16th, the Municipal Planning Commission was referred to the Municipal Planning Commission, and then they voted for unanimously to move forward with the application for the special use permit. With that being said, Mr. Howard. Mr. Howard was here from the last time that this came before our committee, and I wanted to give you the opportunity before we start accepting information from the public for and against the special use permit to give us just a brief update of the status and where things stand in regards to your planning and process for the location.
Yeah, I'll just give you a brief update on where we are. So essentially the state did their lottery, one county, so, but I still want to know eminent. But since we started the process for special use permit, I wanted to kind of see it through. Maybe
Okay.
come up. So kind of that's where we're at right now. Not going to be open. I think some like to kind of give everybody else the opportunity. If I could reserve some phone.
Sure.
Speak after.
I'd give you the opportunity to speak again. It's your
Absolutely.
request. So
No, that's where we're at. But we didn't win the lottery. I think it was like
okay.
probably not going to happen. Sure, but
So just to set the table a little bit more, my understanding of the process is that that the state of Ohio allowed one additional location for Lucas County for a medical marijuana dispensary facility. Your operations were, you had 2 applications at your location, correct? Going from my memory, so if I'm wrong, correct me.
something like I think we had 2 in, and it was a lottery, so it wasn't based on merit whatsoever, just kind of a luck of the draw.
Right.
But
So
they
there were-
picked multiple ones. I think the highest we got was
So there was a number of applications from Lucas County. They picked up, for lack of a better term, out of a hat,
essentially.
and they did it by lottery. And one of your 2 applications came in the mid-30s.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where we're at right now. So it's not likely to happen. And I doubt 33 are going to drop out, so it's very unlikely. So, but that being said, the property is owned properly.
Right.
I'd like to go through the special use process. I don't know when the state's going to award new license, but it's when they do, the process is.
Great.
With that being said, if anybody would like to speak, opportunity and
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Mr.
Appreciate
Howard.
it.
I appreciate it. So there's a number of members of the public here this evening. Some of you may be just an observational, but this is the opportunity. At first, I'm going to give people who are opposed to the application the opportunity to speak if they want to speak. If you are interested, please identify yourself and come up, and then you would need to provide your name and address for the record, and have the opportunity to speak briefly either for it or against it. In this case, I'm looking for people from the public who are interested in opposing the application for the medical marijuana use dispensary. Please. Well, I think everybody here knows who you are on council. Just for the record, identify yourself.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Deb Cheney, and I live at 5736 Summit Street here in Sylvania. And I was plastic director for Sylvania Prevention Alliance. Prevention organization in Sylvania to have a health, safety community. So I wasn't prepared to talk tonight, but I've done this before. So I'm not against medical marijuana. I think it has its benefits. We know that there's one on Sylvania Avenue, which is probably about a 10-minute drive from us. So we think that our community, our residents do have an opportunity to have the opportunity to get medical marijuana if they need to. Medical marijuana has some positive effects. We're not against that piece, but just trying to not normalize use of marijuana. Our young people can't separate medical marijuana from recreational marijuana, especially as more of our communities are starting to legalize recreational marijuana too, which then has does not just have the CBD, but the THC that gives the person the high. So we see, even with the vaping, that our kids are putting recreational marijuana in the vaping. So not to take away from the positiveness of the CBD, but to not normalize use of marijuana because our youth have a hard time separating that. So I guess with the fact that individuals who need to have medical marijuana, will have access to the location on Sylvania Avenue, which is not that far from us, I would ask our council to really reconsider the environmental impact, the message we're sending to our kids, and what we want our community to look like. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Deb? Thank you very much. Is there anyone else here this evening that would like to rise up? Ms. Hussman. And we definitely know, but just for the record, Sandy, if you would identify yourself.
I am Sandy Hussman. I live at Indian Trail in Sylvania. I'll on this, having lost of our drug, knowing that all three of them marijuana, I think known that they're a part of medical, the part of marijuana that I pretty readily available, I think. Right stores, or you'll see oil here. So it's out there and it's addictive. That's what Deb said. They are children. Mentioned job at Alliances. I think of our citizens. I know Doug's that citizen. It's a minute drive to where we minor, a little bit less. So I think we're served. Anna, all I have to say.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience this evening that would like to speak in opposition to the special use permit?
and she is concerned that about this medical marijuana facility. She believes that the medical marijuana or any marijuana leads to other drugs. She does not want to see this in our community, and she wanted to be sure that was heard. Again, I know my microphone wasn't on, so maybe others couldn't hear. Again, this isn't my view. This is Jill Johnson's view. In addition to that, her husband, Larry Johnson, is a psychologist, and he wanted the group to be aware that he, in his professional experience and practice, has run across some studies that suggest that use of marijuana, in particular long-term use, can lead to schizophrenia. And he feels that it's really not in the best interest of our community to bring a medical marijuana facility. So with that being said, I just wanted to be respectful of the request of our community residents to have their voice heard since they were not able to be present.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Are there any other members of the audience interested in speaking in opposition to the special use permit request? None. Is there anyone here that wanted to speak in favor of the special use permit request? Also wanted to give council members the opportunity to ask questions of the administrative staff or perhaps make comments in regards to this, and then give Howard the opportunity to also respond as he requested a bit ago. Members of council who wanted to make
Question. Can I go ahead? I had a question for clarification. So it was mentioned that this could be, this permit is very likely not happening because of the lottery, but it could be in the future something could happen. So if we approved this, and if something happened 3, 4, 5 years down the road, it would be
That's correct.
everything would be smooth sailing through there.
Correct. Once it's granted
For medical marijuana.
Yes.
for medical marijuana, yes.
In this specific location and through
Correct.
this owner. Okay.
to follow up. So if the ownership of the building changed,
The
that would-
special use with the land,
so it goes with the land. So if somebody else purchased the
right, or if
the
there was an
land,
ownership
it would-
transfer.
it would still follow.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I'll make a comment. Sure. Appreciate you bringing this to our community. I think it would be ideal to be able to provide our residents with necessary medical treatment to assist in the treatment of this horrible list of diseases that medical marijuana is approved for in the state of Ohio. I'm just going to read those diseases. People understand what we're talking about.
I want them also to understand that needs of doctors come in,
Right.
walk in off the.
But the qualifying medical conditions are AIDS, Alzheimer's, cancer, Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, hepatitis C, inflammatory bowel disease, pain that is either chronic and severe or intractable, positive status for HIV, sickle cell anemia, spinal cord disease or injury, Tourette's syndrome, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. I don't even know what kachuria is. Chronic traumatic encephaly, epilepsy or other seizure disorder, glaucoma, Huntington's disease, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, post-traumatic stress disorder, spasticity, terminal illness, traumatic brain injury. The idea that our residents could not get the medicine they need to be treated for these diseases in their home community, I think is unfortunate. Appreciate your initiative, and I'm hopeful that in time the state will find a place for you in their
appreciate your support of this.
Mr. Howard, before you go any further, any other comments from members of council?
I clarify the comment that I made, that the special use permit does operate how I explained. However, council could impose a restriction that if there was an ownership change, the special use permit terminate. I
Because
just
it's an
wanted-
SUP,
Correct.
right?
And put limitations and restrictions on those. Just wanted to make sure.
But that's not in the application.
That's correct.
So so mechanically, any consideration by this case would require us to overrule the municipal planning commission. That would require 5 votes,
Correct. It would be a modification of their record.
right?
Yes.
Which requires 5.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Howard?
I would accept that. You don't have to go through that process if I can just accept that stipulation. This land's been in my entire life. Been a business member of Sylvania since then. Ideal hot dog, okay, and everything else. So I wouldn't want to do anything. I'm actually purchasing more land on Alexis Road right now, so I wouldn't want to do anything detrimental to the community. Very involved in marijuana in Michigan. They're probably one of the most professional I've ever seen. Better than any hotel, any other business. You ever go to a marijuana? Absolutely. Security to distribution, tracking. The license is issued through the state, the Department of Pharmacy. It's a very, very. They mentioned going to Toledo. Why would you want to send your tax dollars to another jurisdiction? Also draw people, get their medicine and make money. Michigan just last year 131 million. Colorado just reached gateway drug and all that stuff. This is archaic Monday. I mean, would love for you to support this. I'd love to be part of the, bring this to the community. Because it would run with the land, but there's still obviously a lot of approvals. Department wouldn't be architect, state fire marshal, the state. Clear selling to an extent, still a lot more. In the process of opening one in Monroe, and but in any event, it's back to everybody here. And if you have any questions of me?
Mrs. Westfall?
It's entirely up to the state. I think they base it off of, so what they're doing is they're issuing more permits for dispensaries, and the demand's there, issue more cultivations, bounce back, and once the demand for, because of more dispensaries are there, then they'll issue more. They'll just keep it on a, that's why they allotted one for county. They thought that Wood County 2, that's entirely up to the state.
The regulations on this are extensive. They're really extensive, and actually, it's getting into opening a medical marijuana facility in Ohio today is probably pretty risky, because there's a very good chance that this is going to be on the ballot in the near term, and that have recreational marijuana in Ohio. And then the substantial investment in this medical marijuana facility likely
Huge risk.
wouldn't be profitable.
Yeah, I mean, right now you could just go across the state line, right, and anywhere in recreational or medical. Ohio's competing against Michigan, and they're losing a lot of money here. Ann Arbor has 28 dispensaries right now, and they're issuing more. So, respectful, surprised about crime and this and that. Ann Arbor, I mean, quality of Ann Arbor nationwide, and got 28 dispensaries and issuing licenses. There's no crime. In fact, there's studies that show that when a dispensary closes, the crime in that area goes. Opens, it actually goes. So that being said, it is a risky, it's very hard to get licensed. Department of Pharmacy sees it. A lot of regulation. Hopefully one day process, get this done, and 1980s views of marijuana are, I can't believe I even hear it anymore, to be honest with you, but it's still out there, those misconceptions. That being said, hopefully it can be part of this community and everybody.
Other questions for Mr. Howard? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
So, given the situation that we have in front of us, we have special use permit 4-2021. No particular immediate, because apparently the lottery didn't, came out in pretty far down, this location is pretty far down the list. What's the council's thought process on moving forward, giving it time to consider it, acting on it later, or how would it like?
Well, Mr. Fry, I think that in light of this new information, it might be nice to just take a moment to pause and think about it a little bit. Visit it at our next meeting. But whatever the will of the group is.
A lot of heads nodding. I think we need to do anything with that. But
We have a reasonable time to act on this, and I think we've completed all our steps at this point, and I'm certainly comfortable considering legislation that are,
so,
this is a hearing, so we don't do motion.
right, no, I don't think there would be
Yeah.
a motion. But just mechanically, with that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
So moved.
Second? Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for coming this evening. Obviously, council's going to start here in a few minutes. You're welcome to stick around.